If you want to plan a route with your electric car, what do you use? A better route planner, the route planner for electric cars. You plan your route and a better route planner will plan all of your charging stops with the charging network that you said you want to use, and it will not use the chargers that you said you don't want to use. It's amazing. You can specify a lot of things. A lot of cars are supported. You will see when you arrive at each charger at what state of charge you should charge to, and all of this stuff. It's amazing. When you're a premium member, you can also use real-time weather data and traffic information. You can also connect your car to a better route planner via OBD or Tronity or Anode, and you can use a better route planner via Android Auto or Apple CarPlay in your car. Use the link in the description to get 30 days premium membership for free and to support this channel. Thank you very much. Hello everyone, this is my Volkswagen Id.7 Pro and I have it for 11 months and I drove around 18,000 kilometers in it. And today it's time to talk about everything that is still great about this car, stuff that in the last 11 months were a bit annoying, and things that I'm also a bit disappointed about. So this is a Volkswagen Id.7 Pro with the 82 kilowatt hour battery. 77 kilowatt hours can be used. Back in the day it had a WLTP range of 621 kilometers. I think now it has been reduced to 608 or something. It has only rear wheel drive. It's not an all wheel drive version with 210 kilowatt. What is that? 286 horsepower, I think. And it is the new ABRP 550 motor that's very efficient. The car is gigantic long. I have everything in the car that you can get for the Id.7 Pro, except I don't have the panoramic roof, the one that is always open, so you cannot close it. You can just make it see-through or not see-through. And I don't have a heat pump because when I ordered this car, I wanted it as fast as possible. That had to do with my channel, because if I have the car early, I can make more videos earlier and then more views. And they told me if I want a heat pump, it will take 1 or 2 months because there's a delivery problem, and I didn't want to wait, so this car doesn't have a heat pump. I also only have the 19-inch wheels, which I prefer, by the way. They are more comfortable and they have better consumption. And I have it in aquamarine blue, a beautiful color, because I wanted something different this time, not just white. I picked up the car on December 16th, 2023 in Wolfsburg at the headquarters of Volkswagen, and it was an amazing day. It was something special. I rode with the train there and then picked up the car and drove home, and it's a long way because Wolfsburg to where I live is, what is it, almost 700 kilometers, I think. But it was amazing to also see how the car is, and it was already winter. I've done so many tests with this car, range tests in the winter, in the summer, charging test, long distance test. I showed you everything. I think I have over 100 videos of this car already online. And you've seen the things that maybe didn't work or are not that amazing. But of course, I'm gonna sum it up all today in this video. Overall, I'm very happy with this car. It delivered exactly what I wanted. I wanted a comfortable car. I wanted a car that charges great and has low consumption, so long distance drive is amazing. And it delivers on that big time. Of course, in the winter with not having a heat pump, this is a bit less. Heat pump can be up to 9% more efficient because it uses less power for heating, but I can live with that. I didn't buy it for the size. I didn't need that much space in the rear seats. We only have 3 dogs that we bring with us. There was rarely anyone in the rear seats, and also in the trunk. The trunk is a nice size. I can put a lot of stuff in there, and that sometimes is great, but usually I don't need it. Let's talk everyday use. So I use this car to drive to work, and now my wife is using it to drive to work because I'm full-time YouTube, so I rarely do that, and I have a lot of press cars. I don't use it as a daily driver anymore, but if we have to go somewhere or we don't have a car, I still use it. But as a daily driver, the car is amazing. The preheating at home works flawlessly. I have it that it every day in the morning at 6:30 it heats up the car, or in the summer cools it, or in the afternoon cools it in the summer when it's hot. I charge at home with AC 11 kilowatt. I don't use the scheduled charging. I don't need that. I plug in and charge to 80% and then leave it there. I rarely charge to 100%. And when I do, I use scheduled charging one time. And I also said that it should charge to 50% right away. And it didn't stop at 50%. So I stopped the charging process. And then the next morning, it didn't charge to the 100% because I stopped the charging process. And it was my mistake and the car's mistake. I don't know if this has been fixed. This car is still on ID software 4.0 that it had from the start. We get to that later. But I love that the car unlocks when I just get close to the car, the lights go on, I get into the car, just don't have to press a button, I just press the brake and drive on. Yes, it's annoying with the new EU regulation that the speed limit warning is on, and I'm also not a fan of lane assist, but it's easy to turn off, and then I drive. And I love the comfort function that it gives me even on a short trip. So if I'm just a bit on a country road, I turn on the cruise control and the self-steering, the steering assist, the travel assist. I have that on all the time, even on a country road. Of course, if it's like this, I don't have it on, but it's just amazing. When I go shopping with the car, there is something I'm a bit annoyed with. So I don't use when I go away that it locks itself, because like I said before, we have 3 dogs, and when I come home and I get the dogs out, every time I close the door so the dogs don't jump out of the car. And when I go away, it would lock. I come back, it unlocks. That's annoying because it beeps every time it locks. And I didn't want that, and it's annoying with the locking, unlocking. And if I'm away with the key and the door is locked and my wife is there and doesn't have the key with her, then it doesn't unlock. So I have to be there so it unlocks. So I turned that off. I lock myself. And because of that, always getting the dogs out, I don't have this activated. So when I get close to the car, it unlocks, but I lock myself. And with the key, it works perfectly. But here, locking it with the hand on the door handle, it's amazing that all 4 doors have that, not just the front doors. But I always said that since the ID4, since this is more not outside, in the ID3 it always worked perfectly. Here sometimes it doesn't work, and I don't know if it's in the garage that I'm too far away that it doesn't recognize the key, or I cannot touch it perfectly, but it doesn't always work amazingly well. This is annoying. And when it comes to the trunk, that's when I said with grocery shopping, when I have my grocery cart in, and then I put the groceries in the trunk. First, the gesture control works, but it takes time. You do this and then that's way too long, so I press it. I rarely have something in my hand where I cannot do it with my hand. With the key, for whatever reason, you have to be very close so that the key opens up the trunk. I don't know why. So this is not the most amazing. And when I'm done putting the groceries in, I want to bring the cart back and lock the car and close the trunk, but there's no button that does both at the same time. Volvo has that in Polestar, and it's amazing. Here I have to close the trunk and either lock with the key or go here and do it by hand. That's annoying. On a long distance trip, this car is amazing. It's one of the best cars I've ever driven on a long distance trip. And the reason is the mix of consumption, charging, and comfortability and features. So maybe 4 things. It is incredibly comfortable. Even if you just drive to work or something, it's already amazing. The seats are amazing. The seat heater is great. The massage function, it's, oh my God, I love it. I have it on a lot of times. I can just turn it on here. I don't have to go into infotainment system if I don't want to. Steering wheel heater, the steering feels amazing. And like I said, travel assist. steering assist is just awesome, especially on a highway. It's incredible, good distance. Head-up display looks amazing. It reminds me if I have to go off, same with the ID light, that I don't miss my turn. I have this gigantic screen that helps me to find my way, so it's really relaxing. When I use the integrated navigation system to plan a route, the chargers are not selected in a very good way. Sometimes it uses a 150 kilowatt charger, or even the charger that is a grocery store that might be closed. I would love if I could filter 200 kilowatt and then more stalls at where I go, so that at least 4 charging stalls are there where I could charge if it's busy, or even more if I want to. That would be amazing. But the calculation, if I drive somewhere, what state of charge I arrive at the charger and where I should charge to, works amazing. In March we took a trip from Passau, Bavaria, where we live, to Eindhoven, which was 650 kilometers or so, and it did it just amazingly well. We charged for maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes and went on, because I only needed 50%. In March it wasn't warm, but it wasn't freezing, it was like 10 degrees or so. And I don't know if I had the winter tire still on. I think so. The consumption was just so low that we only need to charge to 50%, and then we had 250 kilometers of range while driving 130, 140 with the heat on and winter tires, and it was just amazing. I loved it, and it charges great, especially at low state of charge. So from 10 to 50% was done, like I said, in 10-12 minutes, and then we went on. So this was amazing. We really arrived at the charger, I plugged in, we went to pee, came back, and I unplugged, and we went on, and we charged, I can't remember, 3 times, because I knew where we were staying. There was no charging capability, so we couldn't charge overnight on the way home on the next day. That's why we had to charge one more time. But it was awesome. So a long distance drive in this car. I did a summer range test in perfect conditions. No AC needed, no heat, was around 21 degrees or so, which is perfect for an EV. And I got 428 kilometers of range at 130 kilometers an hour. That's the most range I ever gotten of any other car. Amazing. In the winter, when I did my first range test with this car in a foggy -2 degree weather, I only got 300 kilometers because I needed a lot of heat. What you notice in this car, since it's so big, the interior, when you set your climate to 23 degrees, it's not 23 degrees. It doesn't feel hot in the car. You feel hot air coming out, but once it stops heating up the interior because it thinks it's 23 degrees, it doesn't feel like that. So you tend to turn it up a bit more in here. So the consumption for heat is a bit higher, and like I said, interior is big. And when you have the panoramic roof, the glass roof, then it's even higher. But the comfort function, how the car drives, it's incredible, and I still love it. And I see that a lot of times. I get a lot of press cars, I drive other cars, I drive them for 2 weeks, and then in between, when I drive Hank, this ID.7, I'm always, oh, I missed you. It's just something different. And I've driven a lot of great cars, and there are only 2 cars that I have driven. I'm sure there are more cars that are more comfortable than this car, and it was the BMW i7 and the Audi Q8 e-tron. The e-tron is as comfortable, the i7 is more comfortable than the ID.7, but it's every time I get into the car, I'm like, oh, it's quieter, it's more comfortable, suspension is better, the comfort function feel better, the massage function feels better than in other cars. Oh, I'm in heaven. But now let's get to the negative points. Let's start from the beginning. Software, I have ID software 4.0 on since I got the car. This is since December, mid of December of 2023. It's now mid of November 2024. There has been one update, 4.01 at the dealer, because something was draining the 12-volt battery, and I had a bit of problem with that. And at some point they also exchanged the 12-volt battery, but it took so long because I didn't want to go. I was like, it's fine, it's not a problem. And it never was dead or anything, just the keyless entry or something didn't work when it was parked for a while because the 12-volt battery was low and the app connection didn't work. I didn't mind that. I could have had it fixed in March or so, but I was, who cares? But it fixed now. So it had one update at the dealer, new cars since summer, and it was presented, I think, in March, driving around with ID software 5.0, which has more features, a new design of the head-up display. You can lock the car with the app. I cannot do this. You have remote parking, so it can be outside of the car and park the car. I don't need that, but again, there was no over-the-air update. There was no update at the dealer at 5.0. I have no information when this will happen at some point, and it's very, very disappointing. 11 months and no update. When I would have a Tesla, there would be an update every 4 weeks or 2 weeks, and new features, also sometimes bad features or bad decision that Tesla is doing. Oh, that's the beeping if you would lock the car and it wouldn't work, but I don't do it, so I don't know why the beeping is. I mean, it's not the worst for me, but it also shows what Volkswagen is when it comes to software. It takes its time. The same with the app. The app is okay. I can preheat, I can see the state of charge, and if it's charging, how long it will take to charge. But like I said, only new cars I can lock, and if you send something to the car, it takes a while. So if I preheat, I have to wait 30 seconds till I get the reply. Yes, it really started heating up the car, so it's like and sometimes it doesn't work, so it's not perfect. What works great is when you are in the app and you're sending a navigation destination to the car. So if you don't want to go in the car in the morning and this is where we have to drive, if you want to do it at home and you go in the app and you look at the destination and say send to the car, in the morning when you get to the car, it pops up, hey, you sent this to the car, do you want to navigate to this? And I say yes, and it works. That works really well, I have to say. The rest works, but it just takes time, and sometimes the server is done, sometimes the car is parked too long, you want to preheat and it says no, you can't do that right now, no connection. That happens all the time. It's not amazing, it's not the biggest deal ever, but so many cars make that better. And again, there's not a lot of features in the app, so even now with ID software 5.0, when you can lock the car, you cannot honk, you cannot do the light, you cannot see when the car is driving where it is. You cannot, what else would I want? See a camera around, a picture what's around the car where it's parked like BMW has, or inside the car. I don't think there's a camera inside at all, and I'm okay with that. But it's just, when it comes to software, the software is great. Even at ID software 4.0 and with the 15-inch screen that this car has, it's really great. It does a lot of things that I'm really amazed of. I can arrange my screen in ways that are amazing. I can see a lot of things. I have preheating of the battery manually. I just press it and it preheats. I can navigate to something and it preheats the battery, and in very efficient, not amazingly strong and then leaves it. No, it heats it a bit to see, hey, you're driving 130, you heat up the battery a bit yourself. I don't have to heat up so aggressively. You arrive at the charger, it's a perfect temperature, it charges amazing. The charge plug works perfectly for CCS. I plug in, I use plug and charge, it just works right away. I never have to hold it or something. Hey, the connection is not perfectly well, like in some cars. And I have even had it in the Id.7 Tourer, where I think that some pin was not perfectly, and so I had to hold. So it would start charging for the communication with the charger. Here, it works just perfectly. I never had a problem with that. But again, It's very sad that in 11 months they didn't have one update, and the app also is so far behind. The app has barely changed at all since the beginning when I got my ID.3 first edition in September of 2020. What came was that I can see that the car is locked, if the windows are open, if any door is open, I can see now. And now since summer you can lock the car. That's all that changed for use with the car. And now, yes, you can send destination to the car you couldn't do before, but this is something that should have been in there from the start, and a lot of other brands can do that way better. And now we get to the most important question. Am I happy with this car? Would I buy it again? And I just said, software update, not amazing. Software, by the way, I didn't have too many problems with the software. There are a few things that are not working amazing, and they fixed with 5.0, but I never got the update. And over this 11 months I had like 2-3 error messages that appeared, and even last week I had odometer cannot be shown, please visit workshop. And then I was sure, and then I parked the car, and next morning it was gone. So this weird error messages, and then you park the car, let it sleep, and then wake it up again and it's gone. That still happens. Not so much in my ID.3. That happened a few times, but also not. But I heard from a lot of ID.3 that had that happen many times. In this car I had like 3 over 11 months, and it wasn't something big. It was an error message, I parked, and it was gone. Nothing big. And overall the software is very stable and doesn't have a lot of problems. My biggest problem when it comes to software in the car and using it is Spotify. I use Spotify all the time. I love that it's included in the car, that I can use it in the car, and it's not because of data. It's just, it uses the screen very nicely. I don't have to connect Android Auto or anything. But my problem with it is that with ID Software 4.0 and Spotify, what is it, the app is still I think in 1.00, it doesn't work amazingly well. So I don't think it's buffering the song, so when it's playing a song and then the internet connection, mobile connection is not perfect, it stops playing, and then I wait till the internet connection is back, I press play and it doesn't do it. I press and press, nothing happens, and sometimes it doesn't connect. I have to restart the system, and then maybe, and sometimes it doesn't start at all. So Spotify is not very reliable. Sometimes it works perfectly for a whole day, and sometimes I can't get it to work even for a few minutes, and then I give up and I use Android Auto and Spotify there. I use Spotify a lot, and so it's a bit annoying. But I was telling why, if I'd still like this car and if I would buy it again, and yes. And the main reason is what I bought it for, the comfort and long distance traveling with low consumption and great charging, and it delivers big time. I loved it. And the comfort again is my main thing. This car is so comfortable and quiet, and it's such a big step. When you drive an ID.3 and then drive ID.4 or 5, it's already better, quieter, more comfortable, but then to ID.7 it's even a bigger step again, and I love this. I wanted this, and in the mix with, like I said, with long distance traveling, the consumption, low consumption, the good charging, and then the amazingly comfortable ride with the seat and the massage and everything, and the travel assist. Oh, I love it. And I don't have to steer against it. I don't have to hold the steering wheel hard. It just detects my touch with a light touch. I love it. So this, I love my ID.7. Hank is amazing. I said it. And that's it. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.